Hey guys.
Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Anyway, welcome back to Spooky Saturday, everybody. You're here with Hannah and ChuBs. And today we're talking about the Little Shop of Horrors and everything that involves. So,
hmm
to start off, we have the 1960 black and white movie directed by the great Roger Corman. The first fun fact about this movie became came out of a bet. Uh, he had just finished a movie called Bucket of Blood, which is actually a pretty cool movie. The bet was that he couldn't make a movie in 2 days.
hmm
And now we do have that movie, obviously. Um, One prominent note that most people know, but it's still fun, that this was Jack Nicholson's first movie appearance.
hmm
Um, he was the patient in the dentist office.
He was the one
Uh,
that liked the pain and stuff. You know, he
he
he got
he would late
excited over pain. You
He
know.
would later be played by Bill Murray,
hmm
and it's fun to go back and see. So that didn't really like take off as far as like being like cult classic or anything till
hmm
kind of much later. But
I mean, Jack
then,
Nicholson, he made a big name for himself with
well,
it.
he
I
did,
mean,
but
yeah, the
um,
other guys didn't. So, spoiler
well,
alert.
then we jump to 1986, and the first person asked to direct was
Steven Spielberg.
Martin
Oh,
Scorsese and
okay.
Steven Spielberg was asked to produce,
hmm
and that movie was going to be in 3D, and then they all said nope. So they asked Frank Oz of
Well,
Muppets
no.
fame.
Why they said no is because there was
Oh,
a lawsuit. Remember?
there you go. Thank you. That's right.
So like
Um,
they didn't want to mess with it after that. Like there was a lawsuit.
yeah,
But the
and
guy who made the original didn't put a copyright on the
you,
original movie. So
that's actually in my notes that that black and white is still in the public domain because nobody put
hmm
some tags on that one. So
I know,
one day,
mistake, but I mean, well, not a mistake because we got a great movie
no,
out of it. So whatever.
I, I also had that maybe me and you should like live stream us watching it because it's
Watching.
we can do that.
Oh, the old one.
Yeah, put it on and me and you talk as it goes. But
Oh,
that's
we
for another
could.
day.
We
Yeah.
could do a commentary.
Um. So they went to Frank Oz of Muppets fame,
And
and he
He made
at first
Piggy
he's famous for Fozzie,
and
Cookie
Miss Pig.
Monster, and
Miss
Miss Piggy.
Piggy though. Miss Piggy, my favorite.
Oh, she's awesome. He actually said no at first, but then
hmm
he was working on like the Muppets Take Manhattan, a little bit, and then
hmm
he came back and did it with um, Brian Hansen, the son of Jim Henson.
Jim Henson.
Right. Um, Now, this version had obviously Rick Moranis as Seymour and Ellen Green as Audrey, and Ellen Green comes from the stage play,
hmm
which that came about in 1982. And uh, from what I see, I think she's the only one who crossed over
Yeah, well,
from.
Rick Moranis, he's perfect for the role. Like
Oh
he's
no,
a cute
well
little
no,
nerdy guy. Like he did really
no, I'm
good.
saying she's the only one who did the stage play and the
Uh huh.
movie, but her part was first offered to Cyndi Lauper,
Oh
and
yeah.
she said no. Then they wanted Barbara Streisand in the role, but I think she was busy at the time, as can guess. So they
I
went.
actually okay. I like Cyndi Lauper a lot. I think that could have been really interesting. But at the
Oh
same
yeah.
time, I think Ellen Green is so amazing. Like I'm kind of glad they kept her as Audrey. Um, but I mean,
Oh, as they
I
say, can't picture anybody else in the part.
no, and but I do think Cyndi Lauper could have did a really cool job too. But I'm just kind of glad they didn't change it though, even though Cindy was such a big deal then.
Hmm. So that was interesting. You get your little fun facts. Now the the movie, the '86 movie, had a $25 million budget and ended
Mm-hmm.
up pulling in 39 million worldwide. So technically not a big hit. Became a cult classic when it jumped to video, home video,
Mm-hmm.
and I can attest that I I remember the craze when it jumped over to the video, that it was never on the shelves in the store and it was extremely hard to get. But
Really?
oh, well, at least where I was, like me and my friends would watch it. My older sister loved it, so we would have it on. And I think eventually we just taped it off the TV.
I think we did that too. Me and my brother actually did that, but because we loved the songs in it and stuff, and they would play it on HBO all the time and stuff when I was a kid. That was,
Eventually, yeah, HBO came around and knocked it out the park.
well, I think
Um,
it was a really amazing movie, but
Now, in the '82 stage musical, we first hear the song "Everything Green" sung by Ellen Green, right?
mhm,
This had a hand in becoming, it was the inspiration for the song "Part of Your World" from The Little Mermaid.
mhm.
I find that amazing. I love that song
Well,
too, by the way.
it was written by the same guys.
That's right. His name's on a different page, but a lot of credit to everybody who wrote any part of this. Like Alan
Yeah,
Silvestri did the music, that type of thing. Was it? Maybe
yeah.
not. Anyway, don't quote me on that. Um,
Oh, one thing you need to bring up: Frank Oz, who directed this, he also is the voice of Yoda in Star Wars, so he's very iconic voice.
of course.
I just thought we need to bring that up because Star Wars is like super iconic and everybody loves Star Wars.
Oh yes. For anybody who doesn't know, I might be a crazy old wizard now, but I once was a Jedi. So, I'm not kidding. I'm now a hermit, but I once was a Jedi. Um, this now I'm just going to run out some amazing fun facts that you may or may not know. Um, the Skid Row street scene that you see in the movie was recorded at the 007 studios in England,
Hmm.
famous as being one of the biggest in the world, if not just England. Um, and a lot of people to this day like can't tell the difference if you don't tell them. Um, the Audrey 2 in the movie was it took 60 people to run the full size version. It was voiced by Levi Stabbs of the Four Tops
Hmm.
famous band. And then there's some stuff here I just can't read because
Oh,
of my
well,
handwriting.
there's one thing I want to bring up
Go
about the
ahead.
set. That set was made out of like very cheap kind of wood and like styrofoam and I mean, it was made out of cheap materials, but it looked amazing. And that's just like craftsmanship, how to make it look super realistic with like airbrush paint and all that. Like,
Right.
that's all just made out of cheap stuff that could fall apart. Like, and look how incredible it looks.
And the set was also right before Little Shop of Horrors, they were filming the movie Legend with Tom Cruise, and
Hmm.
that caught on fire. But out of the ashes of that, they were able to come up with this.
Hmm.
And at the same time, um, Brian Henson was and Frank Oz were both
They're doing
also
Labyrinth.
working. I was literally, you took it out of my mouth. They were working on Labyrinth and Hogarth. But I was telling Mrs. M when I was writing all this down, what a great time. Could you imagine hanging around those sets?
Oh
They were
yeah.
making Little Shop of Horrors and Legend and Labyrinth. Are you kidding me? Now, none of them knew back then what would come of all that or how much of an impact it would make. But
Oh, I have a
you
shameless plug now.
go.
I'm gonna be doing a labyrinth video, something labyrinth, on my channel coming up. It's just gonna be a silly video to make you guys laugh, but it's labyrinth themed, so hope that you guys will come and watch that.
Well, one, I'll be there, and two, to piggyback just a little. Um, Labyrinth is in our lineup for me and Max. We're gonna do that trailer
Mhm.
reaction and review. So
Oh, you
everybody,
are? When are you doing that?
I won't tell. We have
Well, we needed. Well, okay, talk to me privately. Maybe we should
okay.
collab on that. You want
Uh,
to?
of course.
Okay.
If anybody hasn't seen, our first collab was Creep Show 1. We did the trailer review, and the beautiful Hannah joined us, and everybody seems to like it so far.
Mhm.
Um, now, this is for the any comic book nerds like me and Max. DC Comics put out an adaptation of this movie. Um, it's a little more dark. It's not. It's obviously because you can't have songs in it, but
Mhm.
the likenesses, it doesn't look like Rick Moranis, and Audrey's too is a little different.
Oh
But
yeah.
and
There was
in
a
the
cartoon too.
you that's how much we're on page. After that, I
Ah.
have in 1991 a cartoon came out, and in the cartoon, Seymour is a 13-year-old boy, and
Mhm.
they just call Audrey 2 Junior. But when I was researching this, I can say I don't remember the cartoon at all. Do
I was
you?
gonna say, do you remember the cartoon? I actually remember that cartoon.
I don't.
I do remember. I didn't know it was based on Little Shop of Horrors. I thought it was its own thing. So that's really weird. I
By
knew
the
there was
look,
something similar to it. Like I was like, I've seen something like this before, but I
by the
didn't.
look of it, when I was researching, I don't remember it popping up. But in 1991, I was in high school already, so I was kind of busy.
Yeah.
I might, but I don't remember it coming on. But hey, that's cool. I also didn't see the comic books at the time. Like,
Well, I remember watching it. Like I used to in the early '90s. I would watch Rugrats and stuff, and I remember watching that Little Shop of. It was called Little Shop, or I used to watch that too. I'd watch like cartoons like that. You know.
the uh the comic book is called Little Shop, or
Hmm.
maybe no,
The
no,
cartoon is
that's
called
that's
Little
that's the
Shop.
cartoon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The adaptation for comics is from DC Comics. Is more serious, and it's kind of dark, but the cartoon's a little weirder too. Um, by the way, I watch Rugrats too. I like the conspiracy theory that it's all in Angelica's head, but anyway, um,
Oh, those are crazy, dude.
it's just funny to think about. Um, there is also this is cool, and I didn't know because I don't own the movie anymore. I had it on like VHS, but there are deleted scenes, and I believe they're on the DVD.
Mhm.
One is Seymour has a crazy dream
Mhm.
where like he becomes a plant and this and that,
Yeah.
but there's an alternate ending which was
Mhm.
supposed to be the ending where Audrey two multiplies, grows as big as buildings, takes over the world.
Mhm.
Test audiences did not like this and wanted a happy ending, so they reworked it to the ending we saw where he gets married and so on. It's a much more beautiful ending, you
Well,
know.
I think the other ending's a lot more fun, but I
Well,
guess people like happy stuff. They don't
we're
want
also,
Seymour to get eaten and stuff.
we're also used to the older endings, so we're
Yeah.
probably like, oh, something different, you know. Now this is a little controversial, at least in our house. They have in pre-production a remake of Little Shop of Horrors, starring Tara Edgerton as Seymour, Scarlett Johansson as Audrey, and Chris Evans as Oren the dentist, played previously
Hmm.
by Steve Martin. Now,
Oh.
everything obviously in the movie world has stopped, but if you look it up, it says in pre-production, which means there's at least, even if they're writing it, it's being worked on. How do you
Oh.
feel?
I didn't hear anything about this. I know. I saw Jake Gyllenhaal. He did Seymour on the Broadway show, and he did a really awesome job. I didn't know anything about this remake though. Like, when is this coming about?
Well, that's the thing. Like right now, it just lists as pre-production, which could
Mm.
mean like they're writing a script or a script's written, or they even shot some footage, but it's on IMDb and other places as in production, pre-production.
Oh,
My
okay.
question is though, like, should they even touch this?
I don't know. I mean,
They could do it right and do a phenomenal job, and it's been a while, but
I know, but like also the plant
mm,
might look like kind of crappy or something. They might CGI it and kind
oh,
of
I'm sure.
ruin that iconic Jim Henson feel, you know. So that could be kind of disappointing.
Now to compare that, Tom Holland of Spider-Man fame, right?
Hmm.
He's been approached, at least approached, to play Marty McFly in a Back to the Future reboot remake, and people are not happy like me. Like after 20, 25 years, most movies are up for grabs where
Hmm.
the generational gap has moved. Like in 2010, we got the remake reboot of well, '09 was Friday the 13th reboot, and 2010 was the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot.
Hmm.
So after 20, 25 years, even songs are the same way. The industry figures things have moved on. But many people say when something is nostalgic and great enough, like making Gone with the Wind right now, no, you don't do that. You don't need to do
Yeah.
that. So
Wait,
something like
can you hold that? I gotta go pee.
that's fine.
All right.
I'll
You gotta
entertain
entertain the audience. All right, guys. I had a lot of fluids. I'll be right back.
fluids like an IV drip. We don't know. That's the question. But my question for anybody listening: what do you think about the remake reboot gap between movies and plays and TV shows? Like I said, they're talking to people about things like Back to the Future, and even this Little Shop of Horror is a classic in its own right. When the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street was remade, it went, it made money, it did well, and a new generation got to see a version of the movie and the idea, but it didn't go over well in the horror community because they changed too much and they used CGI on Freddy's face. It just didn't work. Friday the 13th, they combined the first three movies into the ideas of half of the remake. And it became infamous for, they called it the reboob instead of the reboot because there's just too many breast shots in the movie. So when you get something like Little Shop of Horrors, uh, the generational gap becomes who's going to notice, who's going to care. I can already tell you when I did research, there's a lot of people who do care, where like you don't need to redo it if somebody hasn't heard of it in this day and age can just go get the movie and put it in. Where do you draw the line? So let us know your thoughts. If you've heard something we didn't, or you have comments on this, let us know because it's happening all the time everywhere now. As I speak to you in the middle of a pandemic, the movie industry has been put on hold. So you're not getting the same things, or things have been pushed back. Little Shop of Horrors in pre-production. Scarlett Johansson. So,
Oh, sorry.
hey, there she is.
Matt.
Hi.
Hey, my family was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm filming."
So, I just presented to whoever's there their thoughts on remakes and reboots and what we were just talking about. But
Oh
we're not
yeah,
here
look,
to talk
guys.
that. We're
Look how
here to.
beautiful this is. You can get one of
Oh
these if you
wow!
want. Isn't that beautiful?
What
You can have
shows for
your
that?
own. You can have your own spooky Saturdays with Hannah and ChuBs.
You,
You
there you
guys get
go.
spooky with us. You can get a mug and then you could be sipping on it and get spooky with us.
Well, to tie into that, Little Shop Bars, people. Oh, by the way, what's her name? One of the girls who sing with in the background
Mm-hmm.
is the girl. Oh man, she was in Martin. I forgot her name, but she's very famous now. But anyway, spooky, right?
Mm-hmm.
This may be a musical and have funny stuff all over the place, but Audrey too comes about by drinking blood, and then he needs to feed people.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I don't think we said it in the deleted ending or the alternate ending. Seymour gets eaten. This is
Yeah,
not just cute and
that's
cuddly.
very dark. Um,
This could be considered a straight up horror movie if not for the music. It's very, very like
It is a horror movie though. I mean, even though Seymour he fed people to a plant. Like the thing is that I want to point out is that the original Seymour wasn't really a nerdy nice guy at all. He wasn't really like Rick Moranis was actually a good innocent character. If you look at it, he was feeding bad people to this plant. He wasn't going out and just but like the original Seymour was taking innocent people. That's something that people might not realize. It's like the original Seymour was kind of a jerk. He's a real jerk, you know.
at heart, he's just a florist.
Yeah. I mean, Rick Moranis was actually he was a nice guy. And he took out some evil people, you know,
He
corrupt
was
people.
he was just coming off of Ghostbusters, by the way.
But he was trying to protect Audrey from that creep that was like beating her and stuff.
That's the level. Like, if you take one side is Audrey to the plant who eats people
Hmm.
and a crazy dentist. The other side is like suddenly Seymour, the song and everything is about he loves her.
Oh yeah.
And so you have like if you were to label this, it could say horror comedy romance.
Hmm. No,
And
there's
that's
a big
good.
romance.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a scene. I don't know if you guys remember. There's a scene where Seymour gets, you know, when he gets famous and they're flashing all those lights on him. He's in the limousine. I don't know if you guys know that Marilyn Manson and one of his videos took that scene. I think it was Dope Show. He took that exact scene from that and he filmed it where he was in a limo and he copied it completely off of Little Shop of Horrors because he loves that movie so much.
Well,
That's just
Im-
a
no,
fact that I knew about since I was a kid, so I thought I'd point that out.
that's why we're here. Imitation's the greatest form of flattery.
You know, I'm not a huge Manson fan, y'all, but my sister loves him, so that's why I know a lot about the guy. I might do a Marilyn Manson look, you never know.
Wait, do a Manson look?
Yeah, I might do a makeup tutorial.
Oh, well,
I'll use contacts, I don't care.
he
I'll do
he
the whole look.
he liked looking like a girl, but it's funny when you see him without the makeup. He is in a movie. Um, just a
Um,
normal guy. His
oh,
name is Brian.
he was in the Tiny Dancer, like Elton John did a new music video. He's in that. Um, I think Manson's okay as a person. I'm not a big fan of his music. I guess you know.
For anybody who hasn't like dwelled into Marilyn Manson, my suggestion is always listen to the music without looking at any videos first. You
Hmm.
know, because and he was the one he was given the chance to remake "Sweet Dreams" by the Eurythmics, and that's a classic song. And his version's cool in its own right. But yeah, if you take away the way he looks and the shock value he tried to do, "Beautiful People's" a great song, and "Dope Show's" kind of cool and all that stuff. But yeah, the
I
look
sort of
for
have a love hate relationship for the guy. If that makes any sense, like it's sort of a love hate thing. I kind of love him, but I kind of don't. I don't know.
I like a bunch of his songs, but the videos can throw you off. But hey, the his shock thing is the reason we're talking about him. But yeah,
Yeah, well, I've always kind of loved him because I thought he was cheesy. He burns Bible. He does a lot of cheesy stuff that I think is kind of funny. So that's why
he's
I always.
like he's like a Rob Zombie clone, like
Rob
a form of
Zombie.
that.
I actually like Rob Zombie's music though. You know, when I was a little kid, I would sit around
Right?
and listen to that. Me and my brother, we turn off the lights and we'd like sit around and listen to his music or whatever, and we'd get like scared and stuff. Like we're like this
Hey,
scared.
I was there when White Zombie broke out and
Oh, White Zombie.
Thunder
He
Kiss
was.
65 first came out, and everybody's like, "What?" And to this day, their bass player, who is
Oh,
female, is
she plays with Jeff Beck. No.
she's gorgeous, and I love female musicians. But anyway,
No,
we're off topic.
my dad used to always be like, "Oh, you remind me of her." I was like, "Dude, I'm not as good as her." But yeah, she's pretty cool. We're off topic again, but there's some more facts or whatever. We went off
Well,
on the crazy
well,
trail.
to tie it in though, we're talking about a movie based off a like which eventually, well, you got to understand there was a 1960 black and white movie,
Mhm.
then a 1982 musical, Broadway musical, which that springboarded into the movie in 86, which had the great songs in it. And
Mhm.
yeah, this movie's known for, like, if you ask somebody who's like, eh, like my generation up, where it's like, oh, I remember that because either they'll say the plant, Audrey 2, or the songs, or the
Mhm.
dent. Steve Martin's portrayal of Orin is awesome, and I
Mhm.
even instantly think of I want to be a dentist. That song's crazy now. So music is a big part of this, and I hope that if they do reboot, remake, reimagine this, they make it the same. Like, make it
Well,
look better, but keep it the same script, the same songs, the same
you do
story.
have to think like whenever they did Little Shop of Horrors, like the 1980s version, they had a super amazing cast. Like everybody was amazing, and a lot of these people originally came from Canada and SNL and
Yeah.
stuff. Like you had John
Oh,
Candy, Rick Moranis. They had their own Canadian SNL
oh,
type
that's
of show. You know what I'm
just
talking about?
well, Canada's second city.
Well, they have their own
Saturday Night
little,
Live is New York.
and I think Martin Short came from the same show as Rick
Uh,
Moranis and all
well,
them.
Jim Belushi's in the movie, you
Yeah,
know, but yeah,
and
John
Steve
Candy's the
Martin,
radio host.
yeah, Steve Martin, he's like
Yeah.
you know, amazing. And
Uh,
mostly everything he does, he was like super funny at the time. Everybody loved him.
shameless plug. One of the trailers me and Max are going to do is The Man with Two Brains, one of our favorite Steve Martin movies.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Be
That
on the
had
look for that.
what's her name? Kathy. What's her name?
Sybil Shepherd was in the movie.
No, it had that lady that used to be considered really hot. She was in like Peggy Sue Got
Kathleen
Married.
Turner.
Yeah, Kathleen Turner. She was in
Yeah,
that.
well, that's what I meant, not Sybil Shepherd. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Kathleen Turner. Yeah, who later would be in Marley and Me, but anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was considered like the babe back then, like so everybody loved
Well, well, no, I mean she is ripping hot in that movie, but well, I'm just saying, be on the lookout. We're going to do The Man with Two Brains with Steve Martin, and you wouldn't. He's barely recognizable just because of his black hair in the movie. Because he had gray hair early in his life. Like I
her.
think he was in 18, he started going Silver Fox, but you
Yeah,
know
that
he's
happened.
he's a biker dentist and he gets the black hair but he and Bill Murray make that work, make that whole
Oh, Bill
segment
Murray's
work.
great too, and he's an SNL guy too. So you got two
Oh,
SNL, iconic figures, and I don't even know whenever Little Shop of Horrors came out if they were that big as like they became. I don't know if they were a big deal whenever that movie was filmed. I know they were
mm,
kind of popular, but I don't know if they were like
oh
so
no.
iconic.
Oh
Now they're super iconic.
well, Bill Murray for sure was because, like I said, this was '86, 2 years after Ghostbusters, and Ghostbusters
Oh
put
yeah.
cemented them. Everybody, most people knew like who that group was because you got to remember Saturday Night Live started in '76. So by the time that hit, but yeah, like Bill Murray was probably the most famous, but he was still a cameo in the movie. Like
Yeah,
he
Bill
wasn't a
Murray,
main character.
he went off and did another Frank Oz movie called What About Bob? That was hilarious.
That's a great
Um,
movie. Saw that in the theater,
hmm
by the way.
And well, I mean, I like The Jerk too by Steve Martin. That's my favorite movie by him. Um,
Perfect.
but yeah, I mean, they're both super iconic, and I think it was fun to see all these people that I grew up with, like in that movie. John Candy
Oh,
was like he reminds me of my dad. So every time I see him, I feel like happy or something because he
well,
just
look,
felt like a friend or something. Like there's something about him that I really love.
John Candy, by the way, and we one day we should do a like Saturday Night Live Second City like extravaganza. But
Hmm.
anyway, he literally every movie everybody said he was as nice as you think he is, and
Hmm.
he eventually bought a Canadian football team. He bought into one of them. Like he literally was a great guy and just
Hmm.
passed before us. He should have. He was just. I hear like Uncle Buck and all those movies. He was supposedly just as great as
Um,
you think he is. So,
Nothing But Trouble. You seen that one?
you, I saw that in the theater, and there's a I want to just say there's a good channel people called Good Bad Flicks, and this guy examines movies. And I showed Mrs. M nothing but trouble. His examination. It's like 20 minutes of just how it was Dan Aykroyd's baby, how he did it. But John
I
Candy,
loved
who
it.
he played two parts, and one was a woman who didn't speak, but like got paid the least and didn't care at all. And that seems like he was so great. But oh
And
no, nothing but trouble.
he was in Chevy Chase. Well, because Chevy Chase was on that, but he was also in the Vacation movie.
He was in the first one, yeah, as one of the security guards.
Yeah, he was
Um,
hilarious.
oh, we could we could do a show just on him, but he's a
Oh yeah.
Second City alum too, like so definitely. But he also wasn't a main character, which is amazing. Like you can name all these people,
Mhm.
but Rick Moranis and Alan Green, like those are your two main stars, and then like like I said, even the voice of Audrey, one of the four tops, Levi Strauss,
Yeah.
like they pulled out all the stops and
I didn't know
you
that
know
till recently. I always thought that was Little Richard that did his voice. I was so off. I didn't know who did that voice for a long time.
is it that far off though? Like two classic, old school guys who have a nice smooth voice.
Yeah. Well, Rick Moranis, I don't know if y'all know. I think he might still be in retirement. He had a wife
He
that
is.
passed away from cancer, and he didn't want to do. I can understand. He didn't want to do movies after that. Like he wanted to take a
Oh,
break. But
they act they
mm,
actually for the 2016 Ghostbusters with the girl version
yeah,
where everybody who was alive came back, but he still stayed out of retirement.
yeah, like he's been through a lot. He took care of somebody and he had to watch, I don't know, it's devastating. But yeah, we love Rick Moranis though, I have all respect for him.
No, hey, like he has a right to retire, but
Yeah, he could take whatever time he needs. Like, he doesn't owe anybody anything. We still love him. He's still iconic. And Seymour Never Gonna Die, that's an
look,
iconic movie.
this is a perfect example. Like he wasn't a singer, he didn't need to do this, and they took a chance, and he stepped up and he did it, exactly.
He was amazing. He's perfect for the role, and I'm
I
glad that
can't picture anybody else.
I can't picture anybody else. And Ellen is amazing too. So I think both of them they played really well together, and I felt like there was I know they were just acting, but it really did feel like they loved each other. So I feel like that was amazing performance.
That's that's when the people doing it are truly talented, where you believe it. Like
Oh yeah,
if you put on if you try and make a Romeo and Juliet movie and the people don't work, it doesn't matter how good the script is or the
yeah.
story. This worked, and it's about an alien plant that wants to eat people, but
Mhm.
most people come off going, "Oh, I remember Suddenly Seymour," and
Oh, Son of Seymour is beautiful.
you have a song, her like Ellen Page sings a song that
Mhm.
became a Little Mermaid song, and it's like dealing with the same thing, like somebody
Well,
who wants to be out of their situation into
like
a
you
okay.
like you're saying, there's like this really beautiful romantic story to this. And I'm not really a huge romantic person, but I really do like how
What?
what I'm not really into romantic movies. Does that make sense? Like, I mean, maybe I'll be a romantic, whatever. I'm not into the movies that much, but I'll admit I really thought it was sweet how she was dating all these horrible guys, and then she wanted like a nice guy finally, and she went out with this guy. He's broke, he doesn't have anything, but kindness to offer her, and she didn't care, and she fantasized about having kids with him. I thought that was so cute, because she's with a guy that she had no future with. He's just like beating her all the time, and Seymour. he was like, the only man for her, really. The only man that could like please her.
That's why I think the happy ending works, seeing them married and
It
like
did, but like I'll admit that other ending was kind of fun though. But yeah, I think I'd be pretty sad if Seymour died or something.
eh,
Actually.
I'm gonna get a new version and I wanna make sure I'll let you know those are the deleted scenes on the DVD that's out.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
only own a VHS, so there's no deleted scenes. But
Mhm.
I want to see the end of the world version. That would be cool.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. Have you watched it?
Oh, okay.
So
No,
guys,
not yet.
you can watch the deleted scenes from Little Shop of Horrors on YouTube. People upload it, so I thank them for doing that. But you could see the alternate endings, and they're pretty dark, amazingly filmed, but pretty dark, but still
I,
pretty badass. So,
I have seen um most of the end of the world version,
hmm
like giant Audrey plants eating buildings and throwing
yeah,
cars, but
that's pretty
but
dope.
just but just a quick clip of them married going into their house. Like I didn't see the whole thing, but
Oh,
that's what I'm looking
that
forward
was
to.
that was the original ending though, where they're
Oh, I'm
saying
sorry. I'm
do
sorry.
but do do yeah,
You're
and
right.
then like
I get it mixed up.
that was whenever like the real ending that everybody saw was when the plant like he takes those electric cords and he kind of shoves it in its mouth and it goes like boom and it
Yeah,
blows up and then after that he finds or what is it, Audrey finds him or something, like they find each other, they meet back up, and then you see them going to their house and stuff. So it was cute,
yeah.
but I do like the other ending too though. But the great thing is you could watch both versions now. So you get the
Maybe
best of both worlds, really.
maybe I don't know. I happen to be a sucker for a good love story that works. So
Well,
I don't know.
yeah, me too. I think whenever I said I don't like romance, I don't. I like romance and certain types of. I don't like romantic comedies for the most part. Like if that's where I was getting at. I
Oh,
think they're kind of stupid and like cheesy. I like romance and sci-fi and horror. I guess like I'm more into that. Something that
yeah.
brings people together. They went through some crazy shit together, and then I don't know. I like stuff like that, but I'm,
There's too many romantic comedies. It has to be done right. It's hard to do it right. You
I
need the
think
right people.
it's kind of cheesy. It's kind of gross to me. I'm not into like that kind of stuff. I like comedies, I like romance, but I like sci-fi and horror a lot more. So if they add romance to that, I'm cool with it.
Well, I tell you what, a good example of what you're talking about is the original Aliens, the '79
Hmm.
Ridley Scott movie. There's
Game
a
over,
deleted.
man. Sorry,
That's Aliens. I'm talking the first
sorry.
one. There's a deleted scene of Sigourney Weaver and Tom Skerritt's characters making
Hmm.
love, and they're both
Ooh,
with other people, so they're technically cheating. But they
oh.
cut that out because it technically adds nothing. But if you watch it, you can.
They deleted that? I don't. I was gonna say I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
there's like a deleted sex scene
Oh,
of Dallas and Ripley getting it
that's
on, but
juicy, y'all. You hear that?
but it adds nothing. And
No,
I
it's just for
I like
fun.
most people, if you watch Alien, you can sense there's tension between them.
Mm-hmm.
That's better than anything. It just doesn't work. But yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find that scene, and I think it's on. There's so many editions of movies when they like the new box set comes out, and there'll be this, and then the Blu-ray comes out, and
Yeah.
there's a. So I've seen the scene, so it's somewhere, but that's an example of you don't need it. It's too much,
No,
or
you don't.
it doesn't help. Sometimes you need a good example. Halloween 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
No nudity, no sex scenes, and it's a horror movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Doesn't
no,
need
it was
it.
amazing. It was good.
Well,
Um, but I think early on when they did horror movies, they wanted to get people to watch, and
oh no,
a lot of men kind of want to see, people like actresses like breasts and stuff. So that would kind of lure them into it. It's like, oh, dude, I get to see freaking Jamie Lee Curtis naked or something like that would make people want to watch
uh,
it. I don't know.
no. Well, you're half right. I can tell you coming
Half
from
right. I'm full right.
the no, because horror movies became a staple of there's always going to be boobs in it or such. But
Yeah,
uh, the first Halloween didn't have the only like set of boobs you saw was during somebody being killed.
yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis only showed her boobs in the movie Trading Places, where she was a
Oh,
prostitute,
oh, that's
a
right.
comedy.
No,
But that's her.
I've seen. No, she freaking was naked in a, or she wasn't naked. She was in that True Lies movie, dude. I saw her like
She
in
was
a.
in our underwear, but that came later. I'm saying
Yeah, she's like older.
she did like Terror Train and Prom Night, and when it was that's when you saw stuff. Friday the
No,
13th really cemented
did
it.
she show? Did she show her boobs in A Fish Called Wanda? Didn't she get naked in that movie?
I
I could
think
be. I feel
I
like I've seen her like. I saw her naked in that. I swear I did.
maybe that one, but that's still later. Like when she was in horror movies in the time of
Okay.
like everyone had a topless scene. She
Yeah.
didn't do it. She did it in comedies and stuff later on, but
Okay.
she
Well, I might
escaped
have
the
been
trope.
off. I don't know the names, but I'm just saying, whenever they'll be like,
Uh,
"Oh, you get to see this girl's boobs," like people want to see that, they'll be like,
if you want to
"Okay."
see for sure in Trading Places, she flashes Dan Aykroyd. So you get to see her size B's. I think they're B's, but anyway.
So like the size of them too.
I'm giving the scientific answer. Like
I know.
she's
I'm
also
like, I just can't relate because I'm like a
she's
woman.
not a big woman. She's kind of skinny, so
I know, but I'm like a heterosexual woman, so I'm like, I can't even relate to like wanting to see boobs. Really, I'm like,
but you can judge when you see them like,
I
if
know, but I don't know.
like I'll give you an example in your ballpark. There's many a movie with Matthew McConaughey
Mm.
where he will be shirtless, and I can say as a comfortably heterosexual cis male, that's a good looking dude. He's very fit
Oh,
and
I know he showed his booty in that new movie too. I gotta see his
new
booty.
movie.
And that freaking one with that girl I told you about, like that one that was with my dude. I was
Oh
so,
yeah.
yeah, I got to see his booty and everything. I was like, dude, what the? I didn't
Well,
expect that.
let's continue scientifically. How was the booty?
No, he looked good, but it's like I got.
Hey, Drew Barrymore did Playboy, so I know, at least at that time, what she looked like. I own that copy, but I sold it out of respect. So
Oh, okay.
that was also
Well,
like
photographic
she didn't.
memory. So you're like,
Well, you can look up her pictures now at any time, but that was so long ago. She doesn't look anything like that anymore. But
no,
doesn't
she's
matter,
so beautiful. We love her.
To bring it back, Little Shop of Horrors has no nudity. Um,
No, but it has a
but
beautiful story, and it's kind of
Audrey
funny.
is Audrey is dressed a little sexual with tiny dresses and push-up
Boobies,
boobies,
yeah.
but that's her character, and
Hmm.
you want to see her break that, and that's the point. Like she realizes I don't need to do all that. Seymour loves me for who I am, and
Yeah, she was always trying to find a guy. That's what was. That's why
and
she
she
like.
did.
She was an insecure like woman who tried to be sexy because she was looking for a boyfriend, but she was always like getting into the wrong dudes because like that's like she
Now,
lived in a like skeezy neighborhood. There was a bunch of like horrible guys out there, and then I think she didn't. Obviously, I mean they don't get into this stuff, but obviously she didn't have a mom that taught her how to be as a woman or something. Like she came from a broken home, obviously, and she was trying to find a man through like sexuality. you know that's like
yeah,
what a lot of women do is like they think, oh, he'll like me if I do this. So that's what
cautionary
I
tale.
see.
Well, we don't normally on the Spooky Saturday rate movies, but I'd like to know your rating on Little Shop of Horrors. Let's
My
go with
rate.
just the 1986 version.
Oh, I'm too drunk to do. Okay, I'll do it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I am drinking water. Okay, guys. My rating. I will probably give
This is
this.
not water. Anyway.
It's water. You're drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
Strawberry water. It's
Right.
bubbly water. So I will rate this a 9.5. I always do
Okay.
a point 5. Is that like weird?
No,
Um,
that's people give those all the time.
I feel like, well, I don't know if there's anything I really don't like about it, but I don't know. I feel like if I give it a 10, then I'm just gonna be like sounding too, oh, this is
Well,
amazing. But I do love it, y'all.
if you give too many tens, it makes it irrelevant, you know?
That's what I mean. So I'm gonna give it a very high rating, but I'm not gonna go
Okay.
10, y'all, because I think everybody should watch it if you haven't seen it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got amazing people in it. Everything about it's super iconic. So
We always say on me and Max always tell people on ours, like, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Or if you have, revisit it and see it again.
mhm,
And I'll give it an 8.5. The only things I have an issue with sometimes is pacing
mhm.
or like as I say, like the story kind of gets out of hand where it doesn't need to be, but it's got it's the cinematography is perfect.
Mhm.
Like everything fits where it's supposed to be. Just sometimes like it didn't transfer over great, but other than that, it's way high up on my list. 8.5 for me.
Oh, this is an iconic movie, y'all. It's got
Classic.
like amazing songs, amazing actors, amazing
Amazing
script,
story.
amazing story, amazing sets, amazing effects because you got Jim Henson's son working on it and Frank Oz. You can't go wrong with those guys. They're amazing,
Yeah.
They're
If you like
responsible for
sci-fi,
Muppets and freaking what else they do? Labyrinth and Legend, all those great or no, what's that one I was thinking of? Dark Crystal.
well, the Muppets Take Manhattan is what Frank Oz did like right after.
Yeah,
So, or right
and
before. Anyway,
And you guys might not know, I mean, Paul Williams is like literally one of my favorite singers and songwriters, and he did a lot of Muppet stuff, and it's amazing.
yeah, he's awesome. So yeah, if you like sci-fi, there's something there. If you like musicals, there's something there. If you like love stories, there's something there. If you like just great comedy, there's something there. There's so many people in here. You'll never be not surprised when you watch it. Like, holy smokes, there's so and so.
And it's kind of
So
funny too. So like, there's comedy in there too. Like, there's funny bits in this movie. So it's sci-fi, horror, romantic comedy. I mean, it's got like a lot
that's
of awesome things to it.
That's literally like I was trying to classify it earlier, and I'm like, you'd have to put all four of those in there because, like, it moves on, and like they slow it down, and when Rick Moranis is singing his song in Skid Row, like you
Hmm.
could get down with him, you like, and I mean down sad way, like, oh wow, but that is how it works to bring you back in the end, where oh, I am happy they got together. These people are perfect for each other, but oh wait, there's a killer plant in this movie what's going on.
Hmm.
And, the fact that it took 60 people just to work Audrey to
No,
the
there's
big
actually
version.
a pretty crazy part of the movie. Like, do you remember when the plant was like it was chomping Audrey? It almost ate her, and he had
Yeah.
to pull it out. Like he was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Like that was a really freaky kind of scene if you think about it. Like the main girl almost got eaten,
Yeah.
but he came
And
to her rescue, which is makes it even cuter.
you gotta have that I guess they would call it knighting now, like he was the white knight to save her, but
Well, no, like
it's
I'm
classic.
just gonna say, as a woman, um, all of us women, like no matter if they admit it or not, we all kind of want like some Superman kind of dude to kind of take us out of like our shitty situation, make us happy. That's just kind of a thing that every woman thinks of. You know, you
I
can admit
think
it or not, but that's the truth.
I don't think you even have to be a woman. Like men need
No, yeah.
something too. I
Well,
think
I'm
everybody
speaking for
needs
women. I can't speak for you guys. I'm talking about
no.
the.
I'm saying you could turn it right around where
Mhm,
it's literally the same on the guy side where Seymour's a good guy who nothing goes right for him. He sees the woman he likes, knows she's not in good hands, knows he can be the good guy for her, and has to battle to have it happen. And
mhm,
this movie shows you, even though it's a musical with a killer plant in it from outer space,
mhm.
where you root for him and it works.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also why the the bad ending or the killer plant ending doesn't work in the end. The test audiences wanted happiness, and we
Mm-hmm.
got it.
Well,
So
yeah, everybody's a sucker for the happy ending because, like, you might think, "Oh, that's a cool ending," but then sometimes when you watch a movie and there's a sad ending, you will be kind of like, "I don't like that," like you'll have that kind of emotion, sort of like that
yeah,
the Avengers movie when they all died, or everybody's like, "Man, this sucks,"
yeah,
or like everybody was upset about that.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So there you go, Little Shop of Horrors, cult classic. We love it and we recommend it. High marks from us. Go see it and come back and tell us what you think. Or if you have negative stuff, we want to hear that too. It doesn't. Not everybody has to agree with us. Everybody has their own opinion. That's what's great
Hmm.
about being a person. So that's the moral of the story here. There's something to love in this movie for everybody. So we recommend it.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm gonna keep it real. Um, I'm gonna go pee again, and I'm gonna do some shameless plugs.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry. I had too much wine, water,
You don't have
whatever.
to apologize.
I had too much water, y'all. All
And
right.
water, sure.
Whatever. You're drinking water too. You got that strawberry water.
I never said it was water. You
I
just said
said
it.
it's water because we're good people. All right. I'll be right back.
Okay. Water. Let me show everybody. I'm not afraid. I have strawberry lager from Abita. Abita puts out natural spring water here down in good old Louisiana. And nothing wrong with that, She's drinking that wine water, nothing wrong with that. But hope everybody has a good time whenever they come here. Whenever you see this, we call it Spooky Saturday. That's just a clever name, with a foot in the horror community. We love to bring anything to everybody. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you love. Tell us what you want to see. This Little Shop of Horrors is just an example of it could be in the horror section, it could be in the comedy section, but even well, there's some horror movies that are just straight up couldn't be anything else. But I mentioned Halloween 2018 earlier. Like, there's a compelling story where in that movie, Jamie Lee Curtis's character has an alcohol problem because she has PTSD from almost being murdered, and it ruins her family. So some of these movies tie in a great story, a great moral. Little Shop of Horrors may be about an alien plant from outer space that gets
Whew.
caught up. Oh, look at that. Never mind. I didn't say that.
Wait.
Anyway,
What did you say? Did you talk shit?
no.
What did you say, dude? You talking straight doo doo on me?
I no, literally, the last thing I said before you came in
I'm
was
teasing.
that
I know you don't
no,
talk
I
shit.
wanted to let you know. I said you can look at it. This movie may have a horror aspect, but even in Halloween 2018, Jamie Lee Curtis's character is dealing with alcoholism because of the PTSD of only being murdered, and it ruins her family life that she has to rebuild.
Oh,
So
what the crunch? Oh, shoot.
yeah, deep, huh?
That is deep. That's kind of that's really
Well,
depressing. Um.
she does bring it back, just like this movie brings it back to the couple gets together, even though all this crazy stuff is happening.
Oh yeah, I do have a shameless plug though, y'all. I am gonna be doing like me and Chubbs like to do a lot of videos together every week. Sometimes days that like we're busy or whatever, I'm gonna throw in short little bitlets so you guys can always stare at me. Um, I'm gonna be doing like their makeup related videos. I'll give kind of a hint. It's sort of similar to you guys watch my I do stuff for Halloween every year. I do ridiculous tutorials. It's similar to that. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to give too much away, but I do. One of them's labyrinth theme. The other two I'm gonna not give those away, but I'll just say one of them. But I'll probably collab that with Chubbs.
Oh, this October is going to be great.
Oh, I'll do a bunch of makeup looks. You guys need to give me whatever you guys want me to do because I'll do famous characters. They might not be good, but I'll do them.
Well, just to piggyback off of that, besides on my channel, besides the classic, we do trailer reviews from Out Space and
Hmm.
Time. We are doing another unboxing this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. We're
Hmm.
doing a Easter spectacular for this Sunday about Watership Down.
Hmm.
Come back if you heard of that. And you didn't know about this one yet, but me and
No.
Max are planning to go back into the swamp to do some filming.
Oh, right. You're telling everybody, but you didn't tell me this privately.
This is I'm surprising everybody. You never
I
know
know, but
when, but we're gonna
I
go
thought
back.
I got all the juicy stuff before they did. I
We're
thought I
going
was
back
like,
and we're gonna do some live from the swamp shots. So you'll see some craziness, but
hmm.
that's not too far from now. But with everybody looking for more content, we thought now is a good time to
Yeah.
bring more stuff.
No, that's a good idea. We need to make people laugh. We need to make people happy right now because it's rough times
Yeah.
and you can't leave your house, so you're forced to watch us. So we'll try to entertain y'all.
Well, where we're going in the swamp, it's there. It's the definition of social distancing. Unless there's an alligator or a snake that has the virus, we'll be okay.
Oh,
But having a foot in the cryptid community, we have a lot of interaction with people going out. We don't have mountains where I'm at, or the woods are usually swamps and stuff. But stay tuned for that and a whole lot more from over
like
here.
so you guys are all swampies. We all of our lakes are like man made out here, and we have a lot of mountains. That's weird. We have like the opposite.
Yeah, down here, you need a boat like a car out here if you want to go anywhere.
Oh wow. Oh, that's
Now
crazy.
that's way down here. Like we're literally in the Gulf of Mexico, just happen to build up land. But if you go like an hour north from where I'm at, it gets a little hilly, and you get
Mhm.
regular hard pine woods where we throw up tents. But with everything
Oh,
going on, we're going
well,
like go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say there's a big problem here where I'm from, but I don't know if I should say it on here. I'll probably tell you privately. It's an issue that a lot of people deal with around here that I'm tired of being around and I'm about ready to move. So I'm
Okay.
tired of it. But I want to tell you privately because it's just like it makes my state look like shit, so I don't really want to say it. You know,
Okay.
I don't want to badmouth the OKC because it's my hometown, y'all.
Hey, one of the shows I guest on called the 40 and Slip. One of the hosts is from Tulsa, and
Oh,
he's
Tulsa. That's where I met the birthday massacre. Remember I told you?
yeah.
Yeah, she
Uh,
was out there in Tulsa.
well, he throws out a lot of cool info, and then he says stuff like that too, craziness. But you know,
Tulsa, they do these shows. It's a gothic assimilation, and my ex, or let's just say the machete person. He was best friends with the guy that would run those shows. His best friend was this guy, and we'd get to go to those or whatever, and they would have all these gothic bands. They had Pet Shop Boys, and they had some
oh
pretty cool
nice,
people out there. So you get to meet cool people if you got hookups. I had hookups just because the crazy guy, but that's
hey,
over. But I did get to do some cool stuff with that, so
cool. Well, uh,
probably shouldn't
I'm
be
gonna
talking about that.
no, but I'm gonna head out because I'm doing some filming for us tomorrow, me and Max. So
Hmm.
got a lot planned, but that's good for everybody else. So stay tuned. Keep coming back here, especially for Spooky Saturdays, where we're gonna bring entertainment that you won't believe. And other than that, we have a lot planned. So definitely keep coming back and check with Hannah all the time. She'll keep you up to date on what's going on, and we'll be doing crazy stuff on my channel and here.
Yeah. So we're gonna be doing the Tiger King guys,
That's
and
right. I
that's
heard
gonna
there's
be
a
a big
new
show.
episode Sunday.
Oh, they're bringing more episodes, guys,
Uh,
because everybody loves it so much. So, if you guys are excited about that, then watch it, and then you can watch us talk about it because there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about with
that's right.
Joe Exotic. You know, I it's just weird because like I remember when he's running for governor, and it was like there were signs everywhere, so it just feels weird that it's like a big thing right now. You know,
Well,
because
that's why we're gonna bring what we can to the table.
hmm yeah. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll get to talk about something that's local to me, so that'll be kind of fun.
There you go. So I hope everybody enjoyed this one. This was
hmm
Spooky Saturday with Hannah and Chubbs. This was Little Shop of Horrors and everything that it entails.
Yeah, I hope that we brought enough facts for y'all.
And keep coming back because we're gonna bring more and more every time.
More like 6th degree information about people because there's always that 6th degree, y'all. Um, but that's all I gotta say.
There you go. So that's good night from us. Good night from me. Bye bye.